Yo, what's going on, everybody? All right, so today let's talk about a few things with the way this industry is going and how things are shaping up right now. Things are looking bad to worse, and they continue to get even more, sad in the sense that things are just going downhill for these companies. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't care at this point anymore. It's just seeing how everything, with these companies are just not working. People have had enough. People are exhausted, and most of all, it's just a complete disaster when it all comes to this industry. And I, for one, I say, you know what? Screw it. They bring this to themselves and they allow this to happen. So in the end, it's pretty much, they've done this, they've allowed this, and I really don't care anymore. It's you can clearly see that they're trying to push, with whatever it is that they call business is just not working for any company. Things are going down the drain faster and every time more and more. And it's just at this point it's just pretty much like, can they really be saved, and can you save their company from the mess that they've created? Whether it's DC, Marvel, or like companies in the industry that are just putting out products and like merchandise and things like that. Even though those things are doing bad, it's pretty wild how this industry has just gone from worse every single time to just keep on getting worse and things like that. Vegeta, what's up? It's pretty nonsense, I think. And I'm not surprised that this industry is really going downhill fast. And we can just see how everything is just showing. Numbers are not lying when it comes to movies, when it comes to merchandise that's selling. So pretty much everything is just, going into straight up a sinkhole, and financially is just bringing these companies downhill, and everything that they're putting out is just not working. And unfortunately, it's just not working for them anymore. I'm feeling a lot better compared to a few days ago and stuff. So, I appreciate that. Much, much better than what I was like, seriously, like what, like 7 days. I was like that whole week, the flu kicked my ass. So, here I am again. Just got a little bit of cough, but just nothing major like it was before and stuff like that. But, just, here, that's what I'm saying. We're just here hanging out again and stuff like that. Light skin, what's up? Jack, what's going on? Appreciate y'all for watching also. Like I said, it's pretty wild in the sense of how this industry is just, it keeps on going downhill for everybody. It's not just one; it's just for everybody. First I want to talk about mainly is just Funko Pops. I'm glad Funko Pops are coming to an end, and apparently this is going to be their last year in business, as they're saying. So, it's about damn time. I feel that Funko Pops ruined everything in the collector's market, and I never understood that phase. Because that's what it was. It was a phase. It came out and then it just like completely dominated during the pandemic. Everybody was obsessed with those Funko Pops, and things are just not they're not moving anymore. I literally went to like Five and Below earlier today, and there was a bunch of them they had there. So clearly they're not selling. And even at Five and Below, people don't care about them. And you've seen them at Ross, you see them at all these third uh locations, if you want to say. You see them overstocked at Ollie's. Nobody cares, and they're just not selling anymore. And it is what it is when it comes to that collector side. They had their run, and finally it's ending. And I'm glad, because that was ruining completely the collector's market. I know now the next big thing is just these Pokemon cards, and man, that has gotten so out of control where it's like, damn, like it's insane. Who would have thought, that Pokemon cards would have become where they are right now and stuff like that. But that's that when it comes to that part. Of course, we're seeing now, what Marvel is doing. They are literally going all out with this whole MsheU. They don't even care anymore. Like, this is the big fear that I had with them. In the end, Disney is Disney. That's all they care about. They just want to push their agenda. They just want to push whatever their narrative is, and this is what we're gonna be getting. Like I told y'all, like I'm really excited. Well, I was towards was the next Avengers movie, at Doomsday, but starting to hear all these things that people are starting to say now, like I wouldn't be surprised. They're just trying to go with all those agendas and things like that. So, it is what it is. I don't know. I don't even know what to think about this anymore. The industry is just completely down the toilet, and overall, it's just it sucks. It sucks, on every level and stuff like that. Let's see. Where's the Marvel? What's up? Yes, sir. You already know it. Restore the Snyderverse. Yeah, big time. You watch Predator, Badlands. It was okay. It's just Disney. Yeah, it's a Disney type movie. I enjoyed it. I had fun. I don't care what people are saying. A lot of people are talking down on it. I mean, it's a PG-13 movie. Anybody that's stressing a PG-13 movie, clearly you have problems because it's literally telling you it's a PG-13 movie. It's not a rated R movie. And for what it is, I mean, that's where the brand is at. I mean, you have a problem, go freaking talk with Disney. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, honestly. I think people are getting a little too out of control with that just because I guess they're in their feelings deep. And I get it. But Predator hasn't been Predator for years. The whole Alien franchise hasn't been what it used to be for years. This hasn't happened with this movie. It was before this. So, just I don't know. People just sometimes tend to get a little bit out of hand with things, and whatever. It is what it is, I guess. I enjoyed Badlands, like I said. It was an all right movie. It was fun, it's entertaining. That's all that matters. And I got my money's worth. That's all I care. That's how I feel. And, some people that didn't like it and just don't like it, I don't know. I really don't know what you're expecting, from this movie. And clearly they're trying to cancel it. I don't know why, because it didn't have no type of agenda. It didn't have no type of message. It was just a solid, fun movie. And in the end, like I said, I enjoyed it. So, that's what's that with that movie and stuff. So, what can we do? It's Disney. They own the rights, so it ain't gonna change. It's plenty of PG movies. Let me see. You love, but it was too boring for you. Yeah, the beginning was boring. I won't lie. The beginning was very boring, but then once it started getting towards the middle, towards all the way to the end, it started getting good and stuff like that. That's why I said it just entertained me. But the first part was really boring. Like I was falling asleep. I was like, it was just really, really boring. But the fights and stuff, they were on point. I like that. Predator 2018 now looks like a masterpiece compared to the PG-13 Predator. Yeah, pretty much. If you want to say, yeah, I guess so. Um, Again, like I don't know. I think people just have too much high expectations with these movies, and they tend to forget that this is Hollywood. Hollywood doesn't care in the end. They really don't care. And some people are going to support it, some people are just not. And like I said, it was a fun, entertaining movie. That's it. That's all it was. It wasn't like, oh wow, it's one of these like, like all these. It wasn't cinema. It just was a fun, entertaining movie. That's it. Compared to what we're getting lately, yeah, that's why I said it was enjoyable. You think in 6 days we'll hear something about Zach doing something with the Snyderverse or something similar? Probably not 6 days. We're probably gonna hear something for sure before December, before Christmas, because of course with David Zaslav. We'll talk about that in a few. I want to talk about a few things with that. But I'm just going one by one and stuff. Again, this whole thing with Marvel and the MsheU, how it's becoming, is just getting more and more out of control. I just don't know. I just don't know what to expect anymore. But at the same time, it's just they're pushing hard with their agenda and whatever it is that they want to go with. But again, this is Disney. That's what they do. They don't care if it's Predator, they don't care if it's aliens, they don't care if it's the Avengers. They don't give a damn anymore. They're just pushing whatever agenda that they want to, and for that, we're seeing the effect at the box office and stuff like that. Running Man looks like a fun movie. Yeah, I gotta go check that out. Hopefully, I'll go check it out soon. Sean, what's up? Appreciate you for tuning in. Also, Terminator, Alien fandoms have giant expectations that doesn't allow creators to be creative anymore. Look at Genesis and Dark Fate. Yeah, exactly. I agree with you. But when you have companies like Disney that literally own, like now, the Predator, because of course they bought out Fox and stuff. What can you expect? What can you expect from these companies? Honestly, the only reason that Deadpool and Wolverine got away with the R rating was because of Ryan Reynolds, straight up, and because of course they brought in, the old actors and actresses, so they capitalized real good on nostalgia, and they banked. They banked. They really made their monies, and they made $1 billion. So they would have done the same with Predator. I think they would have done the same thing. They could have had a very big successful movie, and it would have just brought everybody within the fandom and stuff like that within Predator. But again, it's Disney. What can we expect? Should we really expect so much from this company? Not really. So we get a female Doctor Doom. Is that true? Why? That's what they're saying. That's what the rumors are coming out more and more. But I wouldn't be surprised. Like I've been telling y'all for a while. If you've been following and seeing the videos that I've been talking about, I said as we get closer to Secret Wars, remember Doomsday is just preparing us for what's to come in Secret Wars. They're gonna have variants of everybody. They're gonna have don't be surprised. They're gonna probably have a female version of Wolverine. They're gonna have a female version of every character. Don't be surprised. I'm telling y'all. Why are we getting surprised? It's 2025. Like this is normal in Hollywood to be doing. I'm not saying that I back it up and shit. I'm just telling y'all that this is what these companies do, and this is what Disney tends to do. Disney doesn't care in the end. Disney just feels that they know what's best for business, but in the end, unfortunately, they just be ruining everything. And you can see how these movies are turning out and stuff like that. So I would not be surprised to see all the mess that it's gonna be bringing with Doomsday leading into Secret Wars. And if they do that, honestly, it's a shame. But I would not doubt it, and I would not deny that that's what's probably going to be happening with them and stuff like that. Let's see. You like Genesis, but that's you. Yeah, I mean, it's not for everybody. If you liked it and you enjoyed it, I guess that's what it is. I like Terminator Salvation. A lot of people didn't like that movie. I don't even think that movie did good at the box office. But for me, movie wise, it was enjoyable. It wasn't the best, but it was enjoyable for its time, stuff like that. So that's what these movies are for. For fans that enjoy it. It's not for everybody. And movies keep on changing and things like that. So yeah, I'm not surprised either. It's we're gonna see. Your point is that in the mind of Terminator, Alien, Predator, fandoms, any new installment is garbage, and only the first two movies are good, and everything else doesn't exist. Gatekeepers too much. Yeah, I mean, whenever a movie comes out, the first and the second one, sometimes very rare, the third one are good, and they always become classics and stuff like that. And then everything after that is just it goes straight downhill. So I mean, again, this is Hollywood. This is what they do. So we should not be surprised. So if this movie flops, it's over for them. It might. If it does bad, probably it's gonna do like how they just did with Tron. But that's them. They're the ones that ruin it. Unfortunately, they own these IPs, and it's like, how do you own these amazing IPs and you ruin it? I just don't get it. I really don't get it, honestly. In the end, it's just how they're putting out their product that matters and stuff. It's funny that James Cameron has writer's block with the new Terminator script. Yeah, he's probably all over the place. And I'm gonna be real with y'all, writer's block is a serious thing. Like it happens to me. Like I haven't been able to like write for my second issue for like probably a month just because like I've had writer's block, and it happens because not that you want to do the perfect story, the perfect script, because there's no such thing, but you're passionate about what you want to put out. And I give it to James Cameron and all these directors out there that they want to put out good quality out there. And sometimes quality isn't just like boom, that's it, you made it, and that's it, you make it happen. No, it sometimes takes time, and unfortunately, writer's block is a real serious thing, and it happens. It happens to a lot of us that we create and things like that. And sometimes you'll sit there and be like, I want to write this, and later you think of something else, and then you just kind of forget about what you thought, and then you look at it and you're like, damn, it doesn't make sense. Like, and then of course what other movies have done, like how do you go back and fix that mess? It's like, how do you go back, especially when you don't have a multiverse? How do you really repair all that? It's really really tough. So I get how he's probably feeling and stuff like that, but in the end, I guess it's like that's why they have a team. They just got to come together and they got to make it work, I guess. It's Charger Six Pack. What's up? Thanks for watching. Appreciate you. Pedro, what's going on? Restore the Snyderverse. Yes, sir. You already know it. We're about to talk about some Snyder stuff and things like that. So, just give me a few minutes. We'll catch up and stuff. Robert Downey Jr. Doom will be the main Doctor Doom. Yeah, most likely. According to Neurotic, the female Doom variant is false. And I think that the leak said that is something like, what is it? Conceal of Kangs replaced with Conceal of Dooms. Who knows? Who knows? They're going to start playing that whole variant and scrolls and whatever the hell they want to do. You're gonna see. But the point is that they're still gonna have those female characters in there. But I don't know. I don't know. If they pull it off, good. If they don't, then That's where the problem comes into, into these brands, into these IPs and stuff like that. But we're gonna see what's gonna happen with that. He doesn't want the same mistake with Dark Fate. Yeah, yeah, I can't blame him. Now look, all right, let's talk about now Snyderverse stuff, because I know a lot of y'all want to talk about that mainly and things like that. So, and I know a lot of news has been dropping left and right. And I know that I got sick like over a week ago and stuff like that, and I missed a lot of videos just because I couldn't talk, and I wasn't feeling right and stuff like that. But now that I'm back, let's catch up real quick, all right? Zach has been posting a lot of pictures, with Batman versus Superman, with Superman, with Ben Affleck, with Joe, and today for Veterans Day, because of course today's Veterans Day, thanks to all the ones that are serving and protecting, I really appreciate, the service that our men and women do out there, and do to straight up, serve and protect this country, because we get, the privilege of having the freedom and stuff like that. And today, of course, being Veterans Day, Zack Snyder posted that picture of Superman. He put justice and truth for freedom. I can't remember right now. And in honor of Veterans Day. Meanwhile, James Gunn hasn't posted crap. What does that tell you? And even though he posted that picture of Henry Cavill as Superman, let's not forget Superman's a symbol of American heritage. Let's be real. Superman has always been the type to fight for freedom, just like Captain America. And these characters, they stand for truth and liberty and stuff. Let's be real. And I know that I'm not one to talk about politics. Like I said, I don't bring that into the channel and stuff. But we have to acknowledge it, that politics has always played a big role with comics, with Marvel, with DC, and during the times that they wrote them and stuff like that. So it's always been part of it and stuff like that. And seeing that Zach actually acknowledged, today, Veterans Day, and it's just in honor of them. That doesn't mean anything with restoring the Snyderverse, or nothing like that, because I know people like to get a little bit carried away, and like to exaggerate and say, oh look, you see, that's confirming. No, that doesn't confirm anything. That just straight up just Zach being respectful, and showing respect and love towards Veterans Day and stuff like that. And then of course he posted a picture of Superman, because of course that's the Superman that he created, in the sense of his version of Man of Steel and stuff like that, with Henry Cavill and things like that. So that's pretty awesome, when it comes to that. Another thing too also is it's pretty wild how Zach posted that picture with the IMAX camera, while they were filming Batman versus Superman. Those cameras are huge, and that's why whenever they make those movies in IMAX, they usually use one camera. I know I know recently James Gunn tried I think he was shooting with Superman 2025. He used the IMAX cameras. He tried to get like two or three or something like that, but it's really tough to shoot in IMAX. It's not like everybody can do it. We know that Christopher Nolan has done it, Zack Snyder has done it, now James Gunn has done it, other directors also, but IMAX is just a special type of equipment and gear. And of course Zack Snyder tagged IMAX, and like they acknowledged it too, and they were like, "Oh, hi, old friend," or something like that. Just because of the IMAX camera and stuff like that. So again, this doesn't confirm anything. So when people are like, "Oh, that confirms we're gonna get the movie in IMAX," or "Is there another version?" No, no, he's just again admiring and putting up a picture with the IMAX camera, and he just tagged them. There's nothing to it. Literally, there's nothing to that picture that confirms or denies anything. I know some people are like, oh, but there's a picture in the background and it shows a Batman and this and that. Oh, what is it? There's nothing. It's nothing. It's just a picture of Zach with a camera of IMAX when he was filming the movie. That's it. Like sometimes we're getting a little too carried away, and it's making us look a little bit too much. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna call it how it is. I love my community, but I also have to say how it is, because other people are not really saying that, and I don't like people when they call us all cultists. Oh, you see, you're a cultist because one picture with this. Now you guys are jumping to conclusions and saying that it's confirmed and this and that. No, it's not. Look, I'm telling you as a Snyder fan, that picture with Zach just holding a camera, and today Veterans Day, that has nothing to do with restoring the Snyderverse. That's just him putting up a picture, acknowledging what today is, and yo, that's it. And some people are exaggerating with it and stuff like that. That's why I want to say that, because I don't want us to look like too desperate, in the sense where like, oh, you see, you Snyder fans always this and that. No, man, it's just him acknowledging those pictures, and that's it. That's it. Unlike the other pictures that we've been seeing, when he's been posting with Joe, with Jared Leto's Joker, using the titles to the songs of what he's putting out. You see what I'm saying? And the other day he put up a picture of himself too, and pretty much saying that he's the last one, last pretty much the last one still around, or something like that. I can't remember right now, but it just shows you, yo, like he's aware, he's seeing it, and I'm gonna tell y'all right now, honestly, like, seeing through all that and stuff like that. Yeah, true justice in the American way, exactly. You love your community, but sometimes chill the F out and take it easy, sweethearts. Yeah, yeah, sometimes we gotta, like, lower the tone down, in the sense of, yo, let's not get ahead of ourselves, because then people make fun of us and then we look like asses, honestly. And I don't like that. I like us to look and act correct according, because you're gonna have all these other shows, and they love to make fun of us. So if we give them a reason, they're gonna go ahead and continue to make fun of us. So, like I said, that's why those pictures are just pictures for today, and that's it. There's no nothing big to it and stuff like that. But just seeing what Zach has been posting lately and recently with all of these things. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you, from here to Christmas. Chances are it's gonna be before Christmas, because of course everybody's gonna be on the holidays, and everybody's gonna be getting ready with family and whatnot and stuff like that. The one thing I am gonna tell each and every one of you is the following: one, don't give up. Two, there is hope at the end. Three, something is definitely happening. And four, we're going to hear a massive announcement. And I said that. I'm telling y'all right now, and I'll repeat myself. We are going to hear a massive announcement before Christmas. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's going to be about, but it's going to be massive. Whether, hear me out, whether WB, David Zaslav, sells or not. All right? Let me emphasize that. From here to Christmas, we're going to get some type of big announcement. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's about, but it's going to shock all of us. I'm telling you, whether it's good or it's bad. Good in the sense that if they sell, bad in the sense that they don't sell. So that way you guys don't jump to conclusions and things like that. I'm just telling y'all this realistically, to not get your hopes up too high, because we've done this in the past and things tend to go down that route. But with the way that things are going right now, with Zach posting constantly, he's, putting all these little clues and hints inside the pictures. I'm telling you right now, he knows something. He knows something. And don't forget, like I've been telling y'all, things change. Things change. The same way that the studio, when Ann Sarnoff was there, she was like, oh, we want to thank Zach for the trilogy that we got and blah, blah, blah. Meaning we're moving away from that. What did we get? The Snyder Cut. When even she said that they weren't going to do nothing. Remember that? And we have it. So that's why I tell y'all, things change. All right. I'm not saying that we're going to get it, but I'm also telling y'all we're not going to get it. All right. Right now, we have to look at it and stay in the middle. We have to stay neutral about this, but we cannot stop. Let's not forget, November 17th, this is a few days away from today. Today's November 11th. In 7 days, 6 days if you want to count, whatever, we're going to have that big trending event. It doesn't matter which one you use. If Restore the Snyderverse or Sell, whichever one. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. That whole hashtag of Sell has gotten so out of control. I don't use it because it just, look, I'm gonna be real with y'all. That shit just has gotten too out of control. It has come down to literally a war between hashtags among ourselves. And that's ridiculous. I'm gonna tell you right now. I don't care if some of y'all get hurt, some of y'all get offended, but I'm gonna tell y'all because we have to put ourselves in check. I'm tired of seeing all these hashtags to prove our one point. Damn it, the whole point is to get the Snyderverse restored. It doesn't matter where, it doesn't matter how. The whole point is for it to get restored. Because if it doesn't sell, then we're gonna look like fools. I'm telling you straight up. If it doesn't sell, then what? You're gonna go back to what we were fighting for, restore the Snyderverse. That's why I only stick to that one hashtag along with release the air cut. Because that's what I'm fighting for, and many are also fighting for. I'm seeing that everywhere, and it's amazing, right? I never opposed and I never said that I'm not down with the sell. If it sells, perfect. If it doesn't, then what? We got to go back to what's working. This is what I'm trying to tell y'all. On November 17th, use the one that you want. It would be preferably, I suggest, to use Restore the Snyderverse, because if we all use that one same hashtag, then we will make even more of an impact, because everything is being focused into one hashtag instead of it being divided into, oh, use this hashtag, use that hashtag, use the other one. Like, shit, this shit's getting out of control more. Like, why? Why should I use 3 or 4 different hashtags to prove my point? No. Use one hashtag, whichever one you want. I'm only sticking to restore the Snyderverse because that's the main one that I like to use, and that's the main goal that I'm fighting for, whether it sells or it doesn't sell. Because if they do end up selling, guess what's gonna happen? That studio's gonna have to, regardless, restore. So it still falls back to the damn same mission that I've been pushing of restoring the Snyderverse. You get what I'm saying? That's just me. You use the one that you want, that you feel more comfortable with. In the end, is the same damn purpose. The purpose is for us all to get Zack back, to get the Snyderverse restored, and to continue where things left off. And seeing how all these things are playing out, how they're starting to move, and how slowly things are shifting, things are changing, and they're changing for the good. This is why I'm telling you, look, two things are going to happen come here to December, all right? I'm just predicting, this is just me speculating, but it could happen. And we have to see this side of what's going on. Look, Paramount has been turned down already 4 times. All right. Clearly, David Zaslav is not happy with the offers that they're making, and that's good for me. I speak for myself on that one because I don't want Paramount to buy WB because they want to continue with James Gunn and they want to continue with the DCU. I am not interested in that, honestly. And if it does go to them, I am done being a DC fan, period. I do not care because they want to continue with James Gunn. I am not down with that, all right? If it goes over to Netflix, that would be wonderful. That would be lovely. I'm not opposing it. I don't say no to it. I welcome it. Let's do it. I don't care. As long as they continue and they, give us more content with Zack Snyder, boom, that's perfect. With David Ayer, boom, let's do it. Let's keep on going. That's it. That's all that matters. Now, let's say that Comcast does buy them out, meaning that they're the ones that own Universal also. That's even more of a win. Why? Because they put out physical, they put out digital, they put out they have the theme parks. Imagine they could do a theme park all about DC and whatever the hell they want to do with that. And of course they do theatrical runs. And that's the main thing that I'm focused on, physical and theatrical runs, because we all want that. We want to be able to go to movies and experience it, and we all also want to buy the copy physical to have it in our collections instead of just digital, because of course it's cool, it's fun, whatever. So I see the chances of that happening. And let's not forget, Christopher Nolan is also over at Universal as we speak, and we have his new movie The Odyssey coming out in 2026. So what is that telling you? That's huge wins for Zach. That's huge wins for the studio, and of course that will be a huge win for us, the fans, because of course we know that that studio actually cares and they want to put out product that's going to bring them money. All right, that's looking at the positive sides, okay, with a little bit of negative. Now let's focus and look at the negative. All right, you might be like, but what do you mean there's a negative? Yes, there's also a negative side to this. All right, that's in the case if it sells. All right, because remember I told you this a few weeks ago. In the end, David Zaslav is the one that has the power, and he's the one that has the final say. All right. And I know that there's been this whole thing of, oh, well, if he doesn't sell, they're going to do a hostile takeover. Look, let's analyze this. All right. David Zaslav is not as stupid as we think he is. All right. He's probably an idiot when it comes to doing these business moves of the studios and putting out content and leaving James Gunn in charge. That he's a complete idiot. All right. But let's be real. David Zaslav is a smart businessman, right? And him being a smart businessman, that's why he has the money that he has. Say what you want, but dude has money and he makes money, period. That's all that matters. So you're going to tell me that a person like David Zaslav, he's dumb when it comes to doing the division of the movies and, running that side, but he's good what he's doing because he gave himself last year in 2024 and the year before 2 fat ass bonuses. So you're going to tell me that while WB is going down, he gets to eat and he gets to feast with a fat ass check at the end of the year? That is smart. That is smart. I'm telling you right now. And say what you want. You might be like, oh, typical fat cats. They love to always, feed off the people that are creating their projects and stuff. The dude is the owner. He's entitled to take all of the portions of the company. You can't go to the owner of a fast food place and because, oh, damn, you're eating up all the profit. That's his business. That's her business. They started that. They have every right. Who are we to tell the owner, the boss, hey, you need to cut me more of the pie? Nah, hell no. Nah. That's called greed. All right. And if you have, look, when you have the writer of what is it, this whole writers bullshit that's going on right now, and I call it like that because it's bullshit. Honestly, they're just greedy writers that are in Hollywood. They did a contract and they got paid for whatever projects that they did. And now they're greedy because they see David Zaslav, they see all these CEOs. Damn, we want to get paid more. Oh, you want to get paid more? How about you start your own damn studio? Because these people have their own studio. They employed you, they hired you, and they did a contract with you. You got paid, you charged them for your services. Thank you, come again. That's it. All right? Business is business. And sometimes people like to get out of hand. Oh, well, I'm going to get the union involved. Fuck the union. Yo, fuck all that shit. Honestly, it's about, yo, these companies have to look out for what's best for business. We're moving into the future. Things are moving into AI. I don't support it. I don't back it up, but we're all guilty and we all use AI. We do. It's in your phone, it's in your consoles, your gaming consoles, it's in your tablets, it's in your smartwatches. That's what they call smartwatches, smart TVs. All that shit is embedded with AI. So don't come at me and tell me, oh, you support AI. It's in everything. It's in fast food restaurants, it's in apps. If you use Uber Eats, you're part of the problem. If you use all these apps to bring you food to your door without you going out, you're part of the problem too. So you're not innocent. You're guilty like everybody. Part of AI, all right? The main reason I bring this up is because now these companies want to move forward with AI production. Look, that's the future. All right. Unfortunately, everything as we keep on moving into the future is going to be robotic and AI. We're seeing Amazon laying off people. We're seeing all these companies laying off people, and they want to replace it with robots. They want to replace it with Skynet, if you want to say. And that's coming. It's coming, all right? I don't know about y'all, but in my area, when you go by the beach in Miami Beach, you see robotic Uber Eats, little carts that they're delivering food. You see a bunch of them. And you can't mess with them. You can't touch them because it's against the law. In California, you see them too. What is that telling you? They're slowly trying to sensitize people to accept AI and robotics. That's what that is. They're low key trying to do that. All right. So when you have Warner Brothers that says, hey, or Disney, hey, we want to do AI movies, we want to do AI products, who are we to judge? That's what they feel like they need. So be it. What are we going to do? Are we going to stop it? Realistically, no. So if you have David Zaslav and this guy is giving himself a big ass bonus at the end of the year while the company is sinking and they're laying off people, what is that telling you? That he's only interested in himself. Okay, that's fine. That's his company. If it's going down, that's his problem. The same thing. If David Zaslav wants to sell at the end of the year or not, that's his problem. And what I fear could and maybe might happen is the following, that after all these offers are made to David Zaslav, and he's like, you know what? They don't meet my expectations. I'm not going to sell. This is why David Zaslav now is breaking off WB from everything that has to do with shows and sitcoms and things that nobody's watching. And then he wants to break it apart so the studio is into two, meaning you have everything that has to do with shows and TVs, and then now you have everything that's with movies and cinematic and theatrical stuff. See what I'm saying? The dude's not dumb. He's smart. He's breaking off what doesn't work and he's selling that. He could sell all that at the end of the year or before the end of the year. But this is where my big worry and my big concern comes into. All right. Look at this and listen close to what I'm going to tell you right now, because a lot of people tend to forget of what I'm saying right now or just are not paying attention. Listen up. All of a sudden, David Zaslav is getting all these offers, right? He's getting, look, the rumor has it now that the Saudis, they want to offer him $70 billion, right? They want to counter offer the Paramount offer. Is David Zaslav going to take that? I highly doubt it. 70 billion is still not enough for him. He's trying to get 100 billion. Let's be real. That's what he's trying to go after. Now look at this, all right? In the end, what I think could and might happen, and we have to also be aware of this, is that David Zaslav in the end could say the following. He could say, look, I decline every offer. Thank you, but we're not going to sell anymore because now we're going to do things our way. And we feel that we're in a financial situation and it's a little better than what we were before. Okay, no shit. Your stocks have finally went up to $22, $23 that I've been seeing lately. Okay, but the only reason why they've gone up is because people are talking about the sell, the sale, that they're selling, they want to be bought. That's the only reason. And it's all the commotion that's going around. So everybody's talking. Wall Street are talking, investors are talking, regular people are talking, fans are talking, everybody's speculating. That's it. Everybody's speculating. In the end, the only one that truly has the power to say, hey, we're going to make change or we're going to keep on sinking is going to be David Zaslav. And David Zaslav, I think, is now seeing that, oh, our stocks are going back up. You know what? I don't think we need to sell. Hey, we're starting to get power again. You know what? We pretty much did good, even though we struggled, but let's keep on doing what we're doing. And this idiot might turn down everybody and say, you know what? We're just going to keep on going the way that we're going. And why do I say that? Because look at what just was announced yesterday. Apparently, there's a rumor that they're doing a V for Vendetta. All right. But guess who's attached to it? James Gunn and Peter Safran are going to produce it. What is that telling you? That they're still going to be there. That doesn't sound to me like they're selling. That doesn't sound to me like they're coming to an end. Hell, if they're moving up to production and being a producer, you know what that means? That they're going to have even more power. Not as much as being a CEO, but when it comes to certain, films, they're going to have a say. And I'm going to tell you right now, this can happen. If Zack Snyder is back and WB decides to quote unquote restore the Snyderverse themselves, and they're like, you know what? We're going to let Zack do his movies. But now they're gonna have Peter Safran and James Gunn be executive producers. They could do it. But you know what an executive producer can do? They can tell you what to do in your movie because they're the ones that are funding it. When Aquaman was made, Zack Snyder was a producer and Deborah Snyder were producers. And I think it was in Shazam, or it was on one of them, Zack Snyder was also a producer. So that's what I'm telling you. They fund it. All right. It doesn't mean that they always have to get in the way and say, hey, I want to change this, I want to change that. But they do have the power to do that because when you're a producer and executive producer, you have that power over that movie. And that's my fear because if James Gunn does step down as CEO and they do make Mike DeLuca, I'm speculating. I'm not saying this is what's happening. I'm speculating. And they make Mike DeLuca CEO of DC Studios to replace him and they have Zach do and continue his movies, my fear is James Gunn still be in there and Peter Safran as executive producers. They don't have to be. They don't have to be involved with the company, but they're still involved in the company. You get what I'm saying? That's the part that I'm worried about. And David Zaslav being so stupid how he is when it comes to making some decisions, there could be a possibility that he might turn everybody down and say, hey, look, we're not going to sell. We're going to continue doing what we're doing, where we're just branching off and breaking off within the same company because they want to focus on whatever and shift away from what's not, being watched, which is certain TV shows and, online shows or who knows what the hell this not working. So he can sell those assets like he's been doing for the past 2 years. Because in 2023, he sold a bunch of assets. In 2024, he sold assets of the company. What do you think he's going to do this year? He's going to do the same thing. So he's still making his money. And in the end of the year, he's rewarding himself with a big fat ass check. And then screw the employees, screw the company. And that's where the things are going downhill for them. And now they're about to lay off some people right before the holidays. Right before the holidays. What is that telling you? That he doesn't care. He doesn't care. As long as he gets his and he gets paid, that's all that matters to him. My worry is that David Zaslav does not sell and he continues with James Gunn, continues with Peter Safran, renews their contract, and then wants to quote unquote bring in Zach and still continue like they were doing when Walter Hamada was there. The same shit is going to repeat. That's what I'm trying to say. It's going to continue. Nothing will change because they'll still keep on giving him a but this and but that until we don't officially hear, hey, look, you know what? Mike DeLuca is going to be the CEO of DC Studios. All right, cool. Let's go. And they're going to leave Zack Snyder in charge to do his cinematic universe. Let's go. The same way that they didn't interfere with James Gunn and they didn't interfere with Christopher Nolan and they do the same with Zack Snyder, let's go. Then I'm down. But if that other option happens, which it could happen, that's the part that a lot of people are not paying attention to. And that's what worries me. That's why I say when it comes down to it, I don't want Paramount to buy them because Paramount is a little shady. They want to continue with James Gunn regardless. They want to bring in David Zaslav. You know damn well they're gonna bring in Peter Safran. So the shit will continue. It won't stop. It will just continue, and it will continue to drag over there. Don't think that things are gonna change. We just need new leadership. This is why I'm more with the whole thing of WB David Zaslav selling the whole damn Warner Brothers directly, to a new studio. Doesn't matter if it's Netflix, if it's Comcast. I would prefer Comcast just because of the benefits, like I said. And it would show you, hey, you know what? We just need new leadership. That's all we really need. We need new leadership. We don't need a lot of things to change. Y'all can keep how y'all doing your things how they are. What we need is just new leadership and guidance with what the customer wants and for us to be included, because that's all we want. I don't care if you continue your shitty DCU with James Gunn. I don't care. Include us. That's all I want. Include us. We all want to be included. But since all these years, James Gunn had the opportunity since the beginning of the Suicide Squad to now, 2025. Well, he's been in business for 4 years, almost 5 years with WB. What has he been doing to make the company some money? Nothing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Superman 2025 was a worldwide flop. And now you have WB coming out, and again, they're shilling, forcing, trying to accept, for everybody to accept, hey, Superman made over 100 million in profit. No, the fuck, it didn't. Subtract marketing, subtract how much you spent on the movie. You didn't make profit. It's already proven. They're just trying to build all this fake hype, all this fake excitement towards the new shitty DCU that nobody's talking about. Nobody's talking and nobody's watching Creature Commandos. Nobody's talking and nobody's watching about Peacemaker Season 2. Nobody's looking forward to Supergirl. They're reshooting Supergirl and there's no trailer for it. That's already bad. What is that telling you? You're reshooting and you don't even have a damn trailer. That to me is called slop. That means your shit is already bad. If you're reshooting before you even put out a trailer, this shit is already bad. It's already starting off bad. And everything started off bad with Creature Commandos. Creature Commandos was the official kickoff for the DCU. A shitty animated film. And then when you have these fake fans coming out and saying, oh, but the Snyderverse should be made and just finish it in animation. Get the fuck out of here. Honestly, I don't want that shit. It's live action or nothing. Zack Snyder said it when he said it in that interview with the Russos when they were eating that slice of pizza. Zack said it straight up. Don't compromise. So why am I going to compromise and be like, yeah, go ahead and let's put it animation? No, it has to be live action. You started live action, ended live action. How come with James Gunn there's no buts? He started his shit in animation, but then he's gonna end it all in live action. How come there's no and ifs or buts with him, huh? How come that's acceptable? Oh, he starts off his DCU in an animation with Creature Commandos, right? That nobody cared about. And then he's gonna keep on, and from Gods and Monsters, now it's switched over to the Superman saga. What the fuck happened? What the fuck literally happened? That's what I'm trying to tell you. If they don't put no and ifs or buts to James Gunn, there should be no and ifs or buts when Zack Snyder is back. I want a R-rated DCEU. That's what Zack was giving us, and it worked. It worked with Batman versus Superman Ultimate Cut. It worked with Suicide Squad. What is it? Ultimate Cut. What is it, unreleased cut? I don't know what it's called. The R-rated version that we got, it's not the air cut, but it's better than what we got when WB put out the theatrical run. And of course, Zack Snyder's Justice League, which is R-rated. What a badass movie. How amazing that movie is. And you're just going to be like, yo, we're going to switch it and we're going to end it in an animation movie? No, get out of here with that. No, I don't buy that. I won't eat that. Straight up, I won't. Call me what you want, but I'm not. I'm not going to settle for less. If you want to settle for less, how about we end everything with James Gunn right now, all in an animated cartoon, style, whatever you want to call it. You see? Oh, no, you can't do that because it's James Gunn. All right, then. That's the same way how we feel about with Zack Snyder. We want his stuff to end live action like we were promised, not no shitty animation. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, yeah, I'm a Zack Snyder fan, and I would settle with that. Because you know what? I'll take that over anything. No. No, I'm sorry to say it, but those are fake fans. You can't come here and say, "Oh, damn, I loved what he did, but you know what? I think it's time to let it go and just end this cinematic universe because that's the best that we can get." Fuck no. This ain't the pawn shop. You can't just take whatever the fuck they want to offer you and give you. That's what the problem is. WB thinks that they're in the position to say, "You know what? We're going to sell our company for over $100 billion because we have Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman." Yeah, right. Ain't nobody gonna pay that shit. Let's be real. Who the hell's gonna pay over $100 billion? Nah, unless they want to go bankrupt. Yeah, you win because you got your 100 billion, but that other company now has to pay the price literally and has to recuperate all the loss that they just finished risking. That's what I'm trying to tell you, and that's what I fear that David Zaslav might do in the end, and that's where we have to come in, and we cannot settle for less. We just cannot. Honestly, that's why to me sometimes I'm like, yo, come on, man. Sometimes people are just like, yo, it's all right as long as we get something. No, that's not all right. That's not all right. You know what was all right? You know when it started becoming, oh, you know what? I'll settle for less. Birds of Prey. Oh, you know what? I'll settle for less. Aquaman 2. I'll settle for less. Shazam. I'll settle for less. Blue Beetle. I'll settle for less. All those shitty films that we got, that's what happens when you settle for less. That's when you're like, well, it's better than nothing. It's better than nothing. Nothing is better than nothing. You know why? Because we don't have to go back and look at this and be like, damn, yo, we got to go back and fix this. Come on. That's what I'm trying to say. And that's the problem with the studio. Again, this is all WB's fault. This is not the fans' fault. This is not Zach's fault. This is the studio. The studio brought this upon themselves. Straight up. I'm being real with y'all. I'm being real with y'all. You think Disney was gonna settle for less and say, you know what? Yeah, we're gonna settle for less. We're not gonna buy Fox, but we're gonna still keep using those shitty characters that we had from the past, and we're still gonna keep paying them a license. Why? You're losing money. Disney said, fuck that. They put on the Thanos glove and they said, we're coming after this. We're taking the whole damn studio in order for us to get our X-Men back. And they did it. They did it. Disney. Disney, the company. The company bought out Marvel. Marvel that was struggling in the 90s when they sold off Spider-Man, X-Men, and the list continues, right? To save their ass from bankruptcy. That's where DC is heading right now. If DC continues these dumbass moves with David Zaslav, that's what they're heading into. They're heading into that whole selling the whole company and parting everything out. That's where I have the fear that might happen. And that's why I'm telling y'all. That's probably going to be the update and the news we might get right before Christmas. Dumbass David Zaslav might come out and say, you know what? We're not going to sell and we're going to keep on going and doing what we're doing the same way that we've been doing. We feel that we're in a better situation now and the numbers are proving it. Watch, his stupid ass is probably going to do that. That's what's worrying me. That's what I think this bozo is going to do at the end. And knowing James Gunn, Peter Safran, they're talking him out of the sale. Oh, you don't need to sell. We did fine with Minecraft. We did fine with Superman. Look, we made 100 million with Superman. Fucking ridiculous. They're trying to normalize flops. And this is what I told you before Superman came out. WB's new motto is let's justify a flop. It's so bad that they're trying to justify that piece of shit movie that's out there right now with Sydney Sweeney, the one that's tanking at the box office right now. That shit is doing so bad, but WB is saying, you know what? It's a success. It's a success. It's a massive flop. Admit it. Admit defeat. WB is so stubborn that they're like, you know what? Yeah, you know what? We're going to keep on moving with these flops. And this is what I've been telling you. This is what I've been trying to tell y'all. WB is in a situation that they're beyond pathetic. They are straight up an embarrassment now in this industry, honestly. And it's like, yo, no wonder nobody wants to work with them. No wonder nobody wants to invest with them. Who the hell wants to? Who the hell wants to? And the only reason the stocks are up is because everybody's right now waiting until before the end of the year to see what's going to happen. I can guarantee y'all, the moment that we get that update before Christmas, I'm telling you right now, and David Zaslav decides not to sell and he decides to still stay and continue as way things are going right now, Watch those stocks start going right back down and shit's gonna go back down again. Nobody's interested for Supergirl. And what, the 10 or 15 fans that are James Gunn supporters that call themselves the whole DCU, that's not going to save the industry. If Superman, let's be real. Let's be real, my friends. I'm telling y'all straight up. If Superman 2025 from James Gunn could not outperform Zack Snyder's Man of Steel from 12 years ago, think about that. Do the math. 12 years ago, Man of Steel came out. All right? That's a long ass time. Add the numbers, how much you have in a year. How much in you imagine that? And Man of Steel was still untouchable. Oh, but now, Superman 2025 was a success. If it was such a fucking success, you fucking clowns would not be going up for sale. That's the part where we're laughing at you. They fail to realize, WB fails to realize the following. You bozos failed to realize that if Superman was a success, like you say, you wouldn't be in this situation. You wouldn't be selling your company. You wouldn't be selling assets. You wouldn't be up for sale. Because a company that's successful and is making money would not be in that situation. Say what you want about Disney, say what you want about Sony. Both companies suck right now, but they're not in the situation of Warner Brothers. That's the difference. Warner Brothers is selling its own company. It's dividing its own company. It's having drama with its own company. They're laying off people. That doesn't sound like it's successful to me. That sounds like shit's going down. That sounds like that company's doing bad. You don't hear that from Disney. You just hear Disney putting out movies. Oh, okay, it's not for everybody, but they're still making money. Predator, say what you want, but it's still making them money. Say what you want, it's making them money. And they have more movies coming up. Their streaming service, say what you want, but they still have content. Tell me what right now, tell me what's to watch that's right now hot on HBO Max. Tell me what? Nothing. Nothing. How the hell you have a streaming service, but you don't have content? It makes no sense. How do you have Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman, but you have no clue what to do with them? And it's clear James Gunn has no fucking idea what to do with Superman. We've already seen it. Superman 2025. What a fucking joke. What a joke. That's what it was. It was a joke. But that's success? All right. Here's another one. It's so bad that nobody's talking about Supergirl 2025. And that shit hasn't even put out a trailer, but yet they're reshooting. Why are they reshooting? There's no trailer, but why are you reshooting? That shows to me that you guys are scared of something. That means that you're scared of the backlash that's going to come from this mess also. But yet, it was a success, right? Let's move forward with the flop. Let's normalize a flop because they feel that we're all morons, right? They feel that all of us are dumbasses and we don't know the difference between success and a flop. It's clear by now. And I'm going to tell y'all right now, if David Zaslav does not sell before the end of the year, this is going to be terrible for business all over. And not only that, when you have the writers, what is it, the Writers Guide of America, whatever the fuck they're call themselves, all of those shills, because that's what they are. They're all greedy shills, right? And they just want more, right? They're the reason why all of these movies are getting delayed. Real talk. They're the reason why 3 years ago these movies got delayed. And guess what? They're pushing their agenda right now again. That's a bullshit agenda. They just don't want this sale to go through because they feel hurt. Oh, AI is going to replace me. I don't know what to tell. I don't know what to tell you. Write better stories, period. You don't want to be replaced by a robot? Do better work. Straight up. Do better work. Period. Stop writing all that woke agenda bullshit that nobody cares about and start making fucking good movies. And then you wouldn't have to be in this situation. But since half of Hollywood are all, part of the alphabet and pushing their agenda, that's why they are in this mess. And guess who it hurts in the end besides the companies? You and me. Because now we don't have good content. Now we don't have good entertainment. Now we get all this trash that they're putting out. Shit that doesn't make sense. Things that are just, what the hell? Look at what we got with Superman. A scrawny, punk ass Superman getting his ass handed from the beginning of the movie to the end. That's what we got. Courtesy of James Gunn. And once James Gunn, big if, we get to see Batman Brave and the Bold, guess what we're gonna see? The same damn thing. The same damn thing. The same damn thing we're going to see. That's what I'm telling y'all. And Supergirl is going to be over sexualized. They're going to make her into a slut, a skank, and they're going to be pushing, watching the ads, how they're going to be shifting and focusing on her chest, on her legs, and all the parts that have to be raunchy in order to sell that movie. That's how they're going to try to sell it to everybody. Because they're going to be like, oh, the male audience is going to love this. Okay, she could be hot, but I don't care about that. I want to see a Supergirl movie. What the fuck is this about? And they're gonna be pushing it because, of course, we know how James Gunn is. That's why I'm telling y'all. That's why I'm telling y'all. I love how majority of us are not even acknowledging Supergirl. We're not acknowledging Clayface because we know that it's bullshit. You don't have to waste your time and watch it to know that that's what that is. It's trash. It's trash. Why do we have to talk about it? Notice how I haven't been talking about it on my channel. And I don't plan on either because I'm not going to give them free publicity. For what? We already know the trash that's coming. Notice that. How come the James Gunn fans don't focus on their stuff? Because they're too focused on what we're doing. The Snyderverse. The Snyderverse is making a comeback. Is making a strong comeback. Zach is confirming. He's reassuring us, hey, keep on going. He's putting keywords in these pictures. All of this is not for coincidence. This is because it's like, yo, prepare yourselves. It's coming. It's going to happen. Keep on going. That's what he's doing. He's giving us the motivation. When he puts up a picture, why in the middle of a reboot are we getting pictures from Batman versus Superman and things that have to do from a movie that was what 10, 12 years ago? A Superman. This is this is Superman. Henry Cavill is Superman. Ben Affleck is Batman. Yo, what are you trying to tell me? You're speaking to me in present, not in past. Because Zach is saying, yo, this is Batman. This is Superman. So I'm telling you, you have Gal Gadot. She put up a picture during Halloween of all the costumes and stuff like that. Yo, that picture has over 1 million likes. Over 1 million likes. She didn't have to put that, but she put it. So what is that telling you? It's telling you that it's going to happen. He's confirming it. The actors are confirming it. The actress is confirming it. They're telling you, yo, this is coming. Why would he put up a picture with Jared Leto's Joker? He's letting you know, yo, with the number 2 on it. Second time, part 2. Who knows? I'm just speculating. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Anything and everything is possible at this point. That's why, like I said, all we want is just to be included. That's it. I don't care what you do with your DCU. I don't care what you do with your reboot. I just want us to be included. How can you let Matt Reeves do his thing? How can you let Andy Muschietti do his thing? How can you let James Gunn do his thing? But why the fuck you don't let the Snyderverse continue? Why the fuck you don't let us do our thing? Why the fuck you don't include us, huh? Answer me that. And talking about answer me that, let me say this real quick. Today, McFarlane Toys made up an announcement of the Batmobile 66 or whatever for their upcoming toy line, whatever. And I straight up I asked McFarlane on that picture. I was like, yo, when are we going to get our Batman versus Superman Justice League Batmobile from the crowdfunding campaign? And I put a little thinking face and like, yo, answer me. And he responded. He actually responded. You don't believe me? Go to Twitter. He responded to me directly. And it's there for everybody to see. And he goes, it's now in production. Good. That's it. We've been asking for months. You were quick to take our money. I don't have a problem. You were quick to take that shit, right? That shit was pulled out of my bank account the moment that shit was closed with the campaign. They were quick with that shit, right? When the fuck are we getting our product? And he's like, it's in production. Thank you. That's all I care about. Hopefully we get that shit before the end of the year. But damn it, that's what I'm trying to say. Sometimes it's about us speaking up and voicing our fight. You know, like yo, you quick to take my money, but where the fuck is the product? And that's what I told him. Yo, respectfully, but yo, I need to know where we all need to know because we all want it. It's in production. All right, cool. That's all we want. It's in production. And the same way that that's in production is how I'm taking it. Zach talking to us and telling us, hey, this shit is coming. Keep fighting, keep pushing, keep demanding. And he knows, Zack Snyder's aware. And I know that WB's aware. David Zaslav, Peter Safran, James Gunn, and of course DC. They're all aware of the trending event that's coming November 17th. This is why I tell you, my friends, if we all unite for one good cause, like we did for the Snyder Cut, we made that happen. Think about that. Let's analyze that. Let me give y'all a pat on the back virtually. All right? We all did a fucking fantastic job with release the Snyder Cut. If you used the hashtag at the time, release the Snyder Cut, and now we have it, you, my friend, wherever you are around this world, whether you're in the North Pole, the South Pole, and the deep Amazons and the fucking wilderness of the wherever you are in the desert, whatever the hell you are around the world, yo, or in the middle of the ocean, whatever, wherever you're listening, you made this possible. You have to congratulate yourself because you didn't give up. While all these shills and all these fake other accounts were out there making fun of us and they were focused mocking us, guess what? We proved them wrong because we have on physical media and digital, pick which one you want to see it. You want to see it in physical or you want to see it on digital. We have our beloved Snyder Cut. We won. That's it. That's it. We won. And the same way we got the Snyder Cut, soon, very fucking soon, we're going to get the Snyderverse restored. That's why you have all these James Gunn chills and all these little groupies of his crying and complaining. Oh, move on, give up. You told us to move on. You told us to give up during release the Snyder Cut, and we didn't. We did not give up. Back then, we will stop at nothing. And now, present time, we will stop at nothing. We told these bozos that we will stop at nothing. Look at the numbers of your box office. We told you we will stop at nothing. Look at how many views you have not been getting. We told you we will stop at nothing. Look at Zach. He keeps on pushing. That's part of we will stop at nothing. That's part of restore the Snyderverse. That's all part of the same thing. Jared Leto's Joker. That's part of Release the Air cut. Because that's the same Joker that David Ayer got. Sure, it's a different version, but it's the same damn Joker. Same timeline. Same universe. So the same way we're fighting for Restore the Snyderverse, that also includes Ben Affleck's movie. That also includes Man of Steel 2. That also includes releasing the Air cut. All of that falls into it. See what I'm saying? That's the big picture that a lot of people tend to forget. And then you have these newcomers. Oh, shit, I just started on Twitter. I just started on social media. I'm going to start the next hashtag. Fuck all that. Because before those hashtags you're now making and trying to trend, guess what keeps on trending even as number one? Restore the Snyderverse. That one continues. That's why sometimes when I see these hashtag wars among ourselves, I'm like, this is bullshit. Why do we need 1,000 hashtags to prove our fucking point? The point is that we want to send the message to all these studios. Yo, just fucking restore the Snyderverse. That's it. Just restore it. What's so fucking hard? It's not hard. It's not rocket science. We're not asking you for fucking too much. We're just asking you, yo, if you restore the Snyderverse, I will fucking give you money. That's it. Plain and simple. We don't need 1,000 fucking hashtags to prove our point, to send the message. No, the message is obvious. Yo, we want Zack Snyder back, period. We want him back just like we got the Snyder Cut. And once they realize and see it, they're going to have to see, hey, damn, they're not stopping. Exactly. We told you we will stop at nothing. What part of we will stop at nothing would you not fucking comprehend? The part of we will stop at nothing or the part that we will stop at nothing, period. That's what pisses off all these James Gunn cultists because they don't have the following and the support like us. We're deep. We are the majority. They know it. If they were the majority, they would have made Superman $1 billion at the box office. But guess what? They didn't. They thought. Remember in the beginning, all of these shills came out. Oh, Superman's going to make $1 billion at the box office. Oh shit, let's lower the standards. Oh, as long as it makes 900 million, we're good. They lowered that. As long as it makes 800 million. As long as it makes 700 million. Shit, as long as it makes 500 million, they lowered it. As long as it makes 140 million. That's how low it went from 1 billion to 140 million. And they call that a success. And I told y'all, watch when Superman surpassed the number of 140 million that they're saying. They're all going to be like, it's a success. A success. We told you it was going to be a success. Really? You started off at a billion and you lowered it to 100 million. Oh, but now it made half of that. Even the studio came out. As long as we make our budget back, that's all that matters. How pathetic. How pathetic is that? You imagine the biggest, most wealthiest person right now that says that, oh, you know what? We're going to make this, this is the car of the future, right? But as long as we're going to spend 500 billion. But as long as we get back our 500 billion, we're in business. That's the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard. As long as you make back your budget, you're satisfied? That is insane. That's average generic thinking. Because a person that goes into business says, I want to spend, let's say, for example, 500 million, but I want to bring back double that. That's called going into business. And then you surpass that. That's called a success. But WB, hey, as long as we spend $10 and make back $10, we're good. Oh, okay, so you don't need profit then? Nope. As long as you make profit, I mean, on budget, you're good? Yep, that's all we want. How ridiculous is that? You see how stupid that sounds? That's exactly how they sound right now. They're completely a circus. You can't go into business saying, yo, as long as we break even, why are you even in business? Breaking even, that's why you're in this situation. Because nothing is working. Nothing. Nothing is working. That's what's telling you. Exactly. The pride and the ego. That's it. Too much pride for them to admit when they're wrong. Exactly. And this is why we're proving them wrong. This is why we have to keep on showing them, hey, look, this is what we want, and this is where you're gonna give us in the end. And they know it. They know it. The thing is David Zaslav going to make the right decision? And that's the part that I'm worried at. Yes, we know that he wants to sell, but the question is he going to fully sell? Now that he's starting to see his stocks going up, starting to see that there's, some type of interest in investing in his company. That's what's probably going to steer him away from selling overall. That's what I think. I could be wrong, but again, I'm just speculating. But this could be a big possibility. We're talking about David Zaslav here. This is what I'm trying to tell y'all. This could be a possibility. With his smart ways of making money, that's making money for him and only him, has worked. Meanwhile, the studio, the fans, the whole company is sinking. And it's clear because we've been seeing it for years now. How bad the numbers have been doing at the box office, the stocks, and all that stuff. And they try to glorify that the flop is okay. It's okay to have a flop as long as you make back what you spent on it. That like they have the audacity to say as long as we make back what we spent, then we're good. That there's no logic in that. There isn't. There isn't. Who the hell goes into a business move and says as long as I make back what I spent? What's the worst that could happen? That I make back what I spent? That's terrible. That's terrible. That you're not going anywhere with that. Like literally, you're not going anywhere with that mentality. It's crazy. It's crazy. Guess men lie, women lie, numbers don't. It's always been like that. Exactly. Your pastor's gonna lie. Family members are gonna lie. Hell, your so-called friends are gonna lie. But in the end, numbers don't lie. Straight up, they just don't. They're not, because it's plain and simple. Those numbers are always going to be how you're going to see them. And that's the truth. That's honestly the truth and stuff like that. It's wild. It's really, really wild. That's why, like I said, look, Disney's in a situation right now that realistically, yes, they're doing bad in the sense of their movies, but they're not really doing that bad because they're still making some kind of money. So in the end, it still benefits them. All right. Like I said, Predator to some people is not Predator. It is what it is, but they're still making money. That's all that matters. Now, when you have companies like Sony that they didn't do so good with, all these side movies of Spider Man, Madam Web, Morbius. Like that's another thing too. They did so bad with Morbius that they put that two times in the theaters. That's how bad it was. But apparently it wasn't that bad because they believed and they made money. So that tells you something. See what I'm saying? Like that even that's bad. But damn, apparently that's not that bad because they put it in theaters twice. So they made some type of profit because it's not cheap to put a movie in the theaters. Superman, on the other hand, from James Gunn, that was a complete wreck at the box office. That was a wreck. And we were all telling y'all. We all told you straight up. You know, how many channels weren't out there reporting it? Aaron Fisher, Harsh Critics, the 4KO. I was saying it. There were so many channels. We were all saying it out there. Shout outs to all of them if they're watching and stuff like that. But we were calling it how it was. We told y'all. We were like, yo, they're lying to us. And now you have the studio. Oh, we made over 100 million profit. That's it. How about you subtract the marketing? Where's your profit at now? How about you subtract what you had to split with the studio and split with the movie theaters? Where's your profit now? That's what they're not telling you. That's the part that people fail to understand. See what I'm saying? It all adds up. It's not cheap. It's not cheap. But then they try to go ahead and normalize it and say, oh, you know what? We're eating. We're cooking. We're doing good. Really? If y'all were really doing so good, you guys wouldn't be in the middle of a sale. You wouldn't have David Zaslav saying, we're gonna sell. I'm open to sell. I'm open to negotiations. I'm open to offers. That sounds to me like you're a little worried, you're a little concerned, and most of all, you're afraid because you know that if you don't produce, your investors are going to turn around and walk away. You're going to lose everything, and you're like, yo, I might as well sell it at the right price. But the right price for David Zaslav has to be 100 billion. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm speculating. Because if he's turning down 60 billion, 60 billion is a lot of money. And now you have the Saudis that they want to offer 70 billion, make a counter offer of 10 billion extra on top of what Paramount offered, 60. Come on. And he's going to turn it down? Yeah, that's a little concerning. It's like, yo, you greedy. You greedy. Yeah, we get it. You want the most, but your company's not in a situation because it has too much baggage. You have all this debt. Your debt is dragging you. The next company that comes in and takes it, they're going to have to absorb it. And they're going to have to still try to find a way to get out of that mess. And that's the part that they have to realize, yo, is it even worth investing this much money? Because it's going to take us this long to get out of the negative before they start seeing profit. It's not like the new studio, if they sell, are going to be like, yo, we bought WB. All right, cool. What's next? Well, we have to start putting out product because we're still in this debt we still have to get out of. You're still buying the debt regardless. You bought what you bought it for, plus what the baggage it brings. Meaning all those flops, you have to make all that money back to recuperate on what you just spent and to balance everything out. And that's going to take you a few years. That's not going to be like overnight. That's it. Boom, we're in the green. No, that's going to take them some years if they can even get up there. See what I'm saying? Because we don't even know the plans of whatever the new company has, new studio that ends up buying them. We're hoping for the best, you know? And we're trying to show them, hey, look, you buy them, yo, there's money with the Snyderverse. That's just one part. You still have Harry Potter, you still have other IPs, that people are interested in. So there's money. There's money with those IPs. The question is, will they listen to us? That's the part. Yeah, WB pissed old Nolan, was it on Nolan, and he won an Oscar with Universal. Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you big time. Yeah, Peter Safran needs to go away. He's another one too. He's been quiet. Notice that he's been quiet. We never remember what DC happened. Yeah, we don't honestly. We're in a situation where like this is all interesting, and at the same time it should not be a surprise on whatever happens. If it sells, beautiful. To whoever it goes, let it go to the best high roller. That's what I say. I would prefer Comcast, but if Netflix got the money, boom, let's go. And if Paramount has the money, so be it, I guess. But like I said, we just need David Zaslav to be completely off from with the studio completely because he doesn't know what he's doing. He has no clue. He has no clue. Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. I'm not surprised. I really am not surprised and stuff like that. What can we do? It's just it's gone down to the point where it's like, yo, like whatever happens, happens. Whether they sell or they don't sell. Like I said, the only one that can save it or ruin it is David Zasloff himself, because we're in a situation now that in the end he has the power to accept or turn down, and if he turns down the offers and decides to continue to do what they're doing, it's over. It's over for the studio. It's 100% over for Warner Brothers. It doesn't matter if they want to restructure their company, they want to change things within their company. It's done. It's a done deal, because whatever the hell they're gonna put out just won't save them. They can't save themselves. WB, the only way that they can save themselves is if that they end up bringing Zach back. They decide to say, you know what, we're going to move with that plan B that we were hearing for a while, and they have to move James Gunn. They have to move him to whatever, just a director. Bring in Mike DeLuca, replace him, and let Zach continue what he's doing. And I guarantee you that they'll be back up there again. But if they don't do that, it's done. It's over. It'll be officially over for Warner Brothers with the DC brand. It will be, I'm telling you, because they won't plan on stopping with James Gunn. They will continue with his mess, and that's the part that we don't want. Unfortunately, if David Zaslav feels that that's what they want to do, I'm telling you right now, if right now we haven't been supporting them, it's going to be even worse. And like I said, it's gonna come to the point where it's gonna be so bad that we're already starting to see that they're gonna start doing these layoffs very soon. That's already a red flag telling you, hey, this is what's to come. And then after those layoffs, more things are going to come with that. They're gonna start shutting down departments because they're not gonna have the money. They have the money, but they won't be investing it because they feel that, oh, this is not good. Yeah, because you keep on ruining your own brand, and that's where it's all gonna come down to and stuff like that. So, we'll see. We'll see what's gonna happen and stuff like that. But I think overall, we're just hoping for the best. But we also have to remember there's also a bad side to it. The bad side is if David Zaslav doesn't sell. That's the part that we should be worried. All right, it's fine, dandy if they do sell, and we're seeing all this thing with the sale. But what if they don't sell? What if David Zaslav in the end, just because he's seeing now, oh damn, our stocks are going up. Like, oh, fans are believing. Customers are coming back, and blah blah blah. All right, dude, don't stay too high on that high horse right now, because things could come crashing down any minute now. I think it's best you just sell. And if he doesn't sell, oh yeah, that's just gonna cost a lot of jobs in every department at Warner Brothers. Look at this. It's so bad right now. Look at this. That you would think, right? You would think Paramount, right? Paramount is about to raise the prices on the streaming service again for you to watch their shows and all that stuff, right? First of all, you guys don't have good content to be raising your prices like Netflix. And even like that with Netflix, it makes me worried. I'm like, yeah, I ain't paying those prices, just because it's just too much. It's insane. And that's with ads. Get what I'm saying? So it's like, I know there's a plan with no ads and stuff like that, but who the hell's really paying all that? Let's be real. I mean, some people are and stuff, good for them. But it's pretty wild that's what it comes down to, the streaming service. And that's the part that I fear, because if they control streaming service, you're never going to own physical. You're just not. And Netflix is one of them. Netflix doesn't give a shit about physical. Netflix only cares about streaming and raising up the prices. Paramount Plus the same way. Disney at least does theatrical. They put out physical. They get you with their streaming service, Disney Plus. But they're like, you know what? You want this? All right. We're going to sell it to you at a higher price, but at least you still get it. All right. Screw it. I'll still get it. You see what I'm saying? The same thing with Universal. They put out movies like we just saw Jurassic World, Rebirth, and, you get it streaming or you could buy it physical. But Netflix, they don't put out physical. That's the part where it worries me. They're not fans of theatrical runs. So that tells you, it tells you a lot. And I'm just pointing out the obvious. It just comes down to, is like, yo, is it even really worth it? That's the part that worries me. Because then when they control digital, they can control everything. Do you really want a company that can own everything and control everything? That doesn't sound too good to me. That actually doesn't sound too good to me. Yeah, that's why I say Universal is the best. Universal in the end is the best option, just because there's more positive, physical, digital. They do streaming. They do theatrical. They do, like special events. Like they do so much. Christopher Nolan is over there. Yo, like they have a theme park. You imagine that? A whole DC theme park at Universal Studios, wherever. Orlando, the one in California, the one in Japan, wherever. That would be nuts. That would be massive. You know how many people would go out there just for that? Just like they're doing with Mario and Nintendo Land right now, or Mario World, wherever it's called right now. So that's crazy. Universal did the big deal with Nintendo to do that with Mario. So there's a lot of possibilities. There's a lot of possibilities. You know, yeah, Universal's my top pick since day one. You guys have been hearing me. I've been saying, I'm like, yo, Universal would make more sense. It would be best for business, honestly. Like seriously, it would be best for business. Like I love Netflix and all that, but let's look at it from a business standpoint. Netflix doesn't care about, physical media. They don't care about theatrical releases. Netflix only cares about how can we lock the customer into streaming. That's it. We're gonna get you this month, but then 2 months we're gonna raise the prices. Oh, but the customer is gonna leave. No, they're not. They want the show. They're already hooked to the show. They're gonna pay the price, and they're gonna raise the price. They're gonna raise the price. They're gonna keep on doing it. And what are you gonna do? It's gonna become to like you're pretty much paying just for one streaming service, like you had cable. It's gonna get to that point. It's bad. It's like it's really really bad. But meanwhile, you have Comcast that, all right, watch this movie, coming to theaters. Boom. Oh, when it's done, catch it on streaming. Boom. All right. After that, you could buy your physical DVD, what is it, 4K, Blu-ray, whatever you want, whatever you collect. Boom, you have it in your collection. That's three wins. All right. That's just three wins. Three wins right there. What does that tell you? Yo, that's a perfect choice for me. To me, I'm like, damn, I applaud that. I'm down with that, and it shows you. It just shows you. It's nuts. Netflix just wants you to, yeah, they just want you to stay locked on a streaming service. Oh, you're never gonna own this on physical, but we're gonna get you next month again where we're gonna automatically charge your credit card or card on file, and you have no say over it. That's what worries me. You know because it's like, damn, they really don't care. They just care about putting it, but they pretty much have all the exclusive, content to themselves. But you have to pay it to watch it and stuff. So, did you hear about the dynamic duo with Matt Reeves? If anything he's doing is actually coming out, yeah, I saw that they were gonna start doing something on it and stuff. So, again, I'm not interested in that. Black Adam versus Jurassic Park. Let's see. What is it? No, you have what? Affleck movie, not Midman Part 2. Oh, you want yeah, exactly. You want Batman Batfleck movie, not Midman. Yeah, from Matt Reeves. Yeah, I'm just not interested in that. Black Adam on HBO Max still has bigger views than Super Gun. Yeah, there you go. You see, a massive super flop from James Gunn. When you have Black Adam outperforming Superman 2025, that tells you everything. That tells you everything. And this is another thing too, my friends. Look, this is what we also have to look at. Let's not forget. And I love to remind y'all the following. Don't forget, we're in November. We have December. We literally have less than what? Like 2 months, I think. And January is right around the corner. Remember, Comcast comes into play with HBO Max starting January 2026. That's only a few weeks. Who knows what they have cooked already? Who knows what deal? Probably, maybe, that's probably what's going to happen. Maybe, I'm just speculating. I'm speculating again. What if maybe that DC alternative content is with Zack Snyder for HBO Max with Comcast? Who knows? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Anything is possible. The Rock can do. Hold on, let me see. The Rock can do a better job than Gunn. Yeah, big time. He's a better producer. Yeah, he actually. Yeah, much better. Let's see. Charger 6 pack. All right, appreciate you for watching. The Rock gave people Shazam. They just hating. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They didn't. They did. Yeah. I know they were trying to do stuff, but again, the studio, and let's not forget James Gunn was lurking in the background. So I still blame James Gunn. The Rock should have move to directing movie. What do y'all think? It would have been cool, but I still liked him as Black Adam and stuff. So what's not to say that he won't come back? It's true, like somebody said the other day. He didn't say he moved on. He just says, like he's like, of course, being professional, wishing the DCU the best, blah blah, all that stuff. But he didn't say that he moved on. He's not saying that he's done. So, I'm telling y'all, anything is possible. Anything is possible at this point. And I don't know. I just have a good feeling. I just have a good feeling. However, things happen and unfold, so be it. So be it. Let it come from it. What if your 1117 hashtag was a positive information? Like, I'm so happy now that the Snyderverse is restored. Hey, whatever comes from it, whatever whatever comes from it, I guess. Even Hawkman was awesome. Yeah, yeah. A lot of people look, Black Adam was a good movie. When you take out the jokes, it's a solid good movie. It really is. I like what The Rock gave us in it, his performance, like the tone of it and stuff. I enjoyed that movie. I really did. Even though it was during the Hamadaverse and stuff, I actually enjoyed it. The first Shazam, even though it had its cringe moments, it was more enjoyable than the second. The second one was a complete wreckage. It was a mess. Shazam 2, Fury of the Gods, man, that movie was a disaster. But the first one was enjoyable. Then Black Adam, it was still good. Um, you were going to get Dr. Fate movie from The Rock. First Aquaman was good. Yeah, first Aquaman was good. I liked it. I know some people are like, oh, it wasn't Snyderverse related. It had to be, but it's still Jason Momoa. That's all that matters. And it made $1 billion. So we were on the right track to the path of good movies. All it was the studio that kept on getting in the way. Um, his fight with Cavill Superman would have been awesome. Yeah, yeah, that would have been insane. Honestly. Um, yeah, that would have been nuts. Honestly, it would have been good to see that fight, and eventually, I know that they were trying to build off to it, because you can clearly see in Shazam 1 and 2 that you still have the same wizard dude. I forgot his name, but the actor, he's from the same movie. He's from Black Adam, and he's from what do you call it, from Shazam. Two different versions, two different movies, but the same character. So the continuity continues. So that's why I'm like, yo, like I see what they're doing, but you can clearly see the studio getting in the way. Like I could still see like some type of force preventing all of that from happening. But I give it to The Rock. He fought and he made possible for Henry Cavill to come back, and we got him as Superman. It was preparing us. We were going back to it. And of course you see Viola Davis as Amanda Waller, preparing. I mean, she's from freaking Suicide Squad from David Ayer's version universe. So thanks to him, again, it was all connected. That's what I'm like, yo. How does Warner Brothers not continue with this? Like, yo, like it's all there. Like, what's so hard? Clearly you can see that there's some type of force trying to prevent all that. But that's what I'm telling y'all. The same force that was trying to prevent the Snyder Cut from happening is the same force that's preventing us to trying to get what we want. But in the end, we have to keep on staying united and keep on fighting against this evil force, if you want to say. And in the end, we're going to win. We will. We did it before, and we're going to do it again. That's the thing. That's the beautiful part about us, that we do not surrender. We keep on fighting. And us united, none of these studios have faced us. Real talk, none of them. WB knows that they could not go up against us, the fans, customers, and consumers, for the Snyder Cut. And for that, we fought, we came together, and we made it happen. And that's the beautiful part, that we did that. Yeah, I want Black Adam too. The second part, because that it will come. Trust me. If that whole thing that I've been telling y'all about, just speculating, Comcast wants to do DC alternative content for HBO Max, I think that's a big plus right there. That's a big plus. If David Zaslav says we're not going to sell next month, but they want to do big plans with the Snyderverse for HBO Max. Let's go. Take my money. Sign me up. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. Anything and everything is possible, my friends. That's what I'm saying. Don't get discouraged. Keep on fighting. The good fight's not over. We have to show them now more than ever. And November 17th, like I said, that's our day. Use the hashtags you want. I'm going to use mainly the hashtag Restore the Snyderverse just because y'all already know since day one. That's what I've been mainly pushing. And that's what I want to push because that's the goal. I want the Snyderverse to get restored, period, whether it sells or it doesn't sell. The point is that I just want that whole story and universe to be, fully wrapped up the way it was meant to be, because in the end, Batfleck movie, Superman, Man of Steel 2, Wonder Woman, all of that stuff all falls under restoring the Snyderverse. And once it's restored, I'm telling you, it's going to happen, my friends. Don't give up. Stay posted, stay positive and most of all, faith, hope, and lots of endurance. We need a lot of endurance because you have all these James Gunn cultists and all these shills trying to break our faith, if you want to say, and they want us to give up and be discouraged and be like, oh, it's not gonna happen. I doubt it's gonna happen. That's what they want. The moment you feed into that, you've already lost. Don't feed into that. You have to stay. We're going to get it. It's happening. Zach is confirming it, showing these pictures to us, saying, hey, yeah, it's coming. Don't give up. It's coming. Because not once has Zach said give up and move on. Not even he himself has moved on. Therefore, that's telling you, yo, if the boss himself wants it, he's still posting, damn it, then it's our job to keep on pushing it until it happens like we got the Snyder Cut. With that being said, my friends, I want to thank y'all for watching, tuning in. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one. Till then, I'm going to catch y'all. Stay safe and peace out.